Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I have listened to a latest reaction from President William Ruto today in relation to the mass action. And I think finally, one thing I once mentioned in this channel about peaceful or not peaceful, or other, the security stake into that mass action emerged. And for those who are followers of the bold, I analyzed sometime at the lapse of the 14 days ultimatum that one of the reasons, or one of the biggest dilemma that Raila Odinga was going through is whether William Ruto would actually protect the protesters. It's as simple as that. Well, in Sia yesterday, I even followed Raila responding to that question, and this is what he said.
Secondly, this is going to be a very peaceful procession. And that's why we've said we don't want any kind of violence, we don't want any bloodshed. It's going to be peaceful. And I've also said that we don't want any kind of handshake. The people of Kenya, Kwisha, all the time said, oh, Baba wants handshake. That's why he's doing this. We are not doing this because of handshake. We are doing this because it is the right thing to do, the only alternative we have to be able to get our rights back. Because of that, Monday is on. And I will hereby now declare today, in the name of Azimio, the Umoja One Kenya Alliance coalition, that Monday, 23rd of March, sorry, let me repeat again. We declare that Monday, the 20th of March, will be a public holiday. Hello? Hello? As many of that opinion say aye, as many of the counter opinion say no, the ayes have it.
President now today, when hosting some Trans Nzoia section of leaders from Trans Nzoia, William Ruto is totally looking tensed in his response on the security question. And is actually saying, turning the ball on Raila, saying that in case of security flaw, Raila Odinga will take personal responsibility. And if you look at that speech, number one, he's trying to dare that it reaches a time when we'll say enough is enough. And that's what many people could have translated as a threat to arrest Raila Odinga, which to me, that is far-fetched. I know that's just street talk. Because if Raila was to be arrested, I think that arrest would have happened some time way back. Now, I don't know, because according to the law, what Raila is supposed to do is to inform the police about the peaceful procession, and just after informing the police, the police are supposed to give security. And then, but with that huge number, you would actually expect that it will actually cause some disruptions. It's a possibility that it can cause some disruptions. I want you to listen to President William Ruto here, body language here, when responding to the security question.
Sasa, huyu mungwana ametuambia anatupangia maandamano. Na anatuambia ati itakuwa maandamano ya amani. Sasa mimi nataka nimuulize, bwana mkubwa, wewe ulipanga mapinduzi ya serikali ya Kenya. Wakenya wengi wakapoteza maisha yao. Damu ikamwagika Kenya. Wewe umepanga kwa miaka 40 mambo ya maandamano. Fujo imetokea. Watu wamepoteza maisha. Watu wameharibiwa mali. Kumetokea fujo katika taifa letu kwa mambo yako ya maandamano. Leo unatuambia ati utapanga maandamano ya amani. Tunangojea hii maandamano ya amani tuone kutoka kwa huyu jamaa ambaye hajawahi kupanga hata siku moja maandamano ya amani. Maandamano yote amepanga kwa miaka 40 ni ya fujo. Watu wanaharibiwa mali yao, watu wanapoteza biashara zao, damu inamwagika. Anatuambia ati amebadilika leo, ati atapanga mambo ati maandamano ya amani. Mimi sina shida kama rais apange mambo ya maandamano ya amani, lakini mimi nataka nimpatie ushauri. Aketi chini na polisi wakubaliane hiyo maandamano itakuwa ya amani kwa njia gani. Asije akaharibu mali ya watu, asije akaharibu amani Kenya, asije akamwaga damu tena vile amezoea, kwa sababu we are shortly going to tell him enough is enough. You cannot continue for 50 years to blackmail the nation, to cause mayhem, to sell fear, to destroy property, to cause loss of life for 50 years, and you want us as a country to believe that you are not taking us for a ride, and you are not taking us for granted, and you are not insulting our collective intelligence as a nation. Kwa sababu kama sisi wote jameni tunakubali sheria, tunaamini katiba, tunaamini vitengo ile imetengenezwa na katiba, lakini mtu mmoja anasema yeye haamini sheria, haamini katiba.
Now, I want to say something here very specific. You can see the discussion there about whether peaceful or not peaceful, and again a threat that daring Raila that look here, we can come after you. Maybe that's the meaning of enough is enough. Now there is a mistake we keep on saying, we keep on making. And I think politicians should also understand that Kenyans are not fools. Kenyans are not that stupid. Because this country, I think we are coming from somewhere. We did not come to 2023 just that way. Our democracy has come from somewhere. The president now is telling us about how the notorious Raila protests and how things have been happening. We all know that in 2007, Raila Odinga, in 2002, there was that transition, Raila Odinga, Moi and Kibaki, which Raila led Kibaki campaigns, and Kibaki won that election, and that transition became very peaceful. In 2007, Raila was at his very peak. He won that election, personally I do believe so. He won that election and hell broke loose. Some of the people that are telling us about the violence now were actually part of the Pentagon in 2007. And that happened. So in 2013, we had an election, transition of Kibaki Uhuru. It was contested, but not that there's no violence. In 2017, where you would actually talk about that violence, remember that election was actually thrown away in the guise that it is actually, that it was rigged, according to the Supreme Court. In 2007, the rigging was, the usual, the traditional, the orthodox means of rigging. And actually, Raila is on record saying that people went to him, told him Kibaki has won, but you are not going to be announced. So some of these stories people are interacting with. And I don't think trying to compound all those into one thing that has been a perennial denier, or rather rejecting that if things don't go their way, it's not his way. I think it's a shallow narrative, if you ask me. It's very shallow, because we are coming from somewhere. Things that happened and even the whistleblower stories, even for people to believe them, we had election where it had its own hitches, even days to the general election. It had its own hitches, even in terms of what was presented. And it's not even a problem of Raila. You know what people should even ask themselves is this. Why is it that people are believing the whistleblower report? There is a history into something. And that is why the simplistic approach of just looking at what is happening now, then you create narratives, to me, it doesn't work. And secondly, in our politics, we are in a democracy. And when I listen to President saying that, Sisi wote Raila anatubeba ufala, I'm wondering if we are to do meticulous survey and ask ourselves, between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, who is more popular? Maybe the results will be shocking to the president. This country, kila mtu anavuta upande wake. If you underestimate, and that's the problem that many people have always thought, that I know Raila is in his last days. I think the years are catching up, and that's why you even see those defections trying to deflect that ball and say, Raila is maybe coming to an end. Yes, that's normal. Everyone else will always get to his last days in politics. Of course, that's not something that is new. That will always happen. Even Ruto, itaisha too. But you cannot make and frame a narrative that you are all right with your team. No, not all of you. That all of you are now right, and now the other side. The point here is you need to listen to the other side. And to President Ruto, forming the us versus them is the challenge. I wish the tone would be respecting the decision, the minds of all those who voted for you and those who are supporting and those who don't support you. You need to be very sensitive to that fact, because at the end of the day, it's not about Raila. Raila cannot be short. He doesn't have a problem. It's about the people. So that's a mistake we are making, that we simply think that what's happening is now. There is a history into everything. We need to be very objective in this question. And the question of security, for me, it's a bit sensitive, because who is the commander of police? Who is the chair of National Security Council? Who is in charge of security? The other time that China, some Nyamakima traders went to Rigathi office, did those traders offer themselves the security? Didn't we see the police taking charge? And so, the question of security, it is politically right to put it that it depends on what I will say. Then it goes down to the head of state. It goes down to the state, because the police is a state machinery. The police is not an opposition machinery, it's not a population machinery. It is a state machinery. So if you abuse it or use it well, it's something. The only thing that opposition team are supposed to do is to tell the police we are going to protest, so that they're protected and to avoid rogue elements. Now, there is accumulated outcry about things happening. And I think instead of us entertaining an argument of peaceful or non-peaceful, the question should be, what is on the table? What is the question? You cannot clamp, and I think it's not right, that to clamp the whole thing to be a Raila thing, this and that. That you also need to question, fine, it's Raila thing, and maybe their personal fortunes. But what is the impact on the population? What is the population saying? Is it really true? And someone should give us a response. Is it really true that, as what we want to project, that the population is not with Raila? That's it. So we need to put the question of Raila aside a bit and ask, what is the population saying? As to whether it's true or not, because it depends on what they are consuming, But what is the population saying? This matter needs to be addressed by some sort of intelligence. It needs to be addressed by critical intelligence, not just the other street political talks. I find that a little bit so blunt in terms of that approach. Now, I saw that it reaches a time when they will tell Raila enough is enough. you know, of course, I know that's what I saw in Twitter, people reacting to maybe a threat to arrest Raila. But that will be it. I don't think it's something new. I don't think it's something new. And even if he's to be arrested, maybe, I don't know. What happens into enough is enough? What do you understand? By that, I wanted to ask me, what do you understand when the state reaches a point of enough is enough? Is it killing people? You cannot kill protesters. You cannot shoot everyone. You cannot. You cannot arrest all of them. Even the jail is not enough. You don't have space in the jail to lock all of them in some custody. So the question of, according to me, I think we are meandering around the problem. And we're simply avoiding the question. What is the population saying? That's it. The moment you get what the masses want, you're right. But all these things, all these stories we are masquerading about, people's businesses, what and what, if police is to protect, then what about it? Because at the end of the day, where do you want them to protest? They are going to protest on the road. And if they protest on the road, there is going to be disruptions. Of course, there's going to be snarl-up. And if someone is to just protest peacefully, aende akae kwa uwanja alafu atoke, are you going to look at that? No. I think they're also looking at where it pinches most. A protest is, according to me, an expression of this dissatisfaction or an expression of your frustration. And you want audience. And if you want audience, you must do something that the king will sit and say, okay, fine, the wait has reached, I need to give them audience. It's that simple. And the audience here is on the people's problems. And it's very interesting to look at how this will develop. Because according to me, I think we are panicking and we're meandering around the problem instead of focusing on the giant in the house.